Good evening, critters of the world. Welcome back to another video. I am Alec the DM, and I am here to sit down and talk about some new content that Critical Role has been releasing. I want to do a look back at my last video to see what I've gotten right and mostly what I've gotten wrong, but I want to mostly focus on the new video that Critical Role released, I think yesterday at the time of recording, about the cast sitting down, or I guess they're standing around talking about their characters and what to expect from them in the campaign to come. Um, they've been releasing a bunch of new content leading up to the campaign, which I'm slightly torn on. I'm not going to lie to you. Part of me is getting super hyped, which I'm assuming is the point of the videos. There is a lot of uncertainty leading up to this campaign. They have a new DM, a new world, new cast members, a new style. They're not just doing a traditional D&D campaign. They're doing the slightly kind of like a West Marches style. It's a little bit different, but you know what I mean. And the three different parties, there's a lot to consider. So I think they're pumping out content, trying to get the hype and to get people talking about the campaign. We're only a couple weeks out now, so I'm assuming it's just going to continue at this rate. But the other part of me is kind of bummed because things are getting spoiled. I love beginning of campaigns. I love getting to know the characters organically and not just because Laura told us she's playing a rogue. Spoiler alert for the back half of the video. But part of me likes just finding out. Like finding out Ford was a warlock the first time when he Eldritch Blasts. Or like finding out FCG is a cleric when he starts healing people or like starts doing like guiding bolt, stuff like that. Like finding out organically, not just like, hi, I'm Billy Bob and I'm a ranger. Like no one talks like that in game. You just play the game and you kind of figure it out along the way. I know I could just like stay away from the internet, but some spoilers you're gonna see. I'm kind of sad that some of them got ruined for me in this last video. Like I'm just gonna keep calling on Laura because Laura just comes out and says it, but I guess so does Travis. So whatever. I'm gonna go down the list and talk about things that I saw in the video. I made a document and just kind of talked about what I saw. I'm just gonna kind of go down the list of the interesting things I saw, some things that I think might be worth talking about, and then we'll talk about where I messed up. So the first thing I noticed is there was a table of players sitting there, and it was Abria, Ashley, and Robbie. So to me, that kind of seems like it could be the schemers, which is kind of like where we have put them before. Or I have a hot take that could be completely wrong, but somewhere in one of the videos or in one of the posts, they talked about how the first 4 episodes are going to be the place where you meet all the different characters. I think the first 4 episodes aren't going to be in their table spots because if you look at a bunch of videos, you see Ashley Johnson or Robbie or Travis, whoever, in a giant mix of tables. They're never with the same people. Sometimes they are, but sometimes you see Matt with people, then sometimes you see Matt with Marisha. So I think the first 4 episodes, you're going to see a mix up of different characters because that's probably going to start off with, I don't know, some sort of way that they all come together. Maybe they're fighting furniture again, like they did in Campaign 3. But there's going to be some sort of big reason why they have to come together, and then they're going to send out the different groups, which is where they will divide. That is my hot take, and that is my prediction. I could be completely wrong, which I probably will be, but that's my guess. Then it goes to Ashley, talk about how she will be an extremely tall character, which her art did not look extremely tall. But I guess elves can be tall, I guess. I don't know. She didn't seem extremely tall. But her comment also was weird when she said, to no one's surprise, didn't she play Pike? Pike was very short. I know like Yasha and then Fern were very tall, but she played Pike, who was very short. So her comment was just kind of a little off to me. But she also said her main weapon is going to be a whip. I predicted her as a shadow sorcerer, so I think I'm very wrong in that aspect. Um, I guess she could be a warlock. Pact of the Blade. Can you do Pact of the Blade with a whip? I don't think so. Blade and a whip that just sounds wrong. So I'm completely lost now on what Ashley's going to play. They probably said it somewhere that I just missed it. But now that she says her main weapon is a whip, kind of throws me off. Um, Next, we saw a table of Laura, Luis, Liam, and Travis. To me, that sounds like the soldier table, if that is going to be like their table assignments, because I had Laura, Luis, and Travis as soldiers. Liam, I did not see as a soldier. I saw him as more of the schemer or seeker, but who knows? He does kind of seem to like combat. Next is Laura, who talks about Thimble and her how she is a rogue. She talks about how she is out for blood or like willing to kill whoever. So maybe that's like a hint at like the assassin subclass. But I guess she could go any subclass, but assassin would make sense in her description. Whitney drops that she's a demon. A lot of people were talking about how she was a tiefling. I did not think she was a tiefling because she had hooves, and I kind of pointed that out in my last video. But I guess tieflings are fantasy, so I guess they could have hooves. But yeah, so she's known to be a demon. I still think she's gonna be a cleric, which I think that could be kind of fun, being that she's from the Hells, but she could be a cleric of like a good deity, just like that kind of like conundrum there. I think that could be kind of cool. Sam talks how he's playing an earnest character with very strong morals that you cannot break. I think for him, that sounds like a super cool character that Sam could be. Knowing Sam is going to be a reason why he has super good or super high morals now. I wonder if he used to be a drunk or he has a scary past or bad past, stuff like that. I'm excited to see how Sam plays that out. Hopefully, Sam plays it as more as a serious character compared to FCG and not. And let's be honest, Scanlan too. But I hope he plays it as kind of a more serious character. I had Sam as a cleric, and I still think that could be if he's holding true to his morals. I still think he could be a cleric. I've also seen people say wizard or stuff like that, or it could be sorcerer. I guess he could be divine soul. That could be kind of interesting. But then later, we saw a table of Travis, Taliesin, Abria, and Marisha. So again, we see Travis at a different table and Abria at a different table. So this is where my theory of the first 4 episodes are just going to be a mashup of players for different things. I guess also technically they did say that they were going to mix and match. So maybe we're seeing that they are super far ahead and advanced in filming. A couple of weeks ago when they released a video, they talked about how they had already filmed the first 4 episodes. So I guess they could be backlogging. So that way when, let's be honest, Ashley's going to get busy filming something and have to miss a bunch. So maybe they're backlogging, knowing people are going to have to miss. I don't know. That's just one thing. Travis then talks how he's playing a giant lion character. Apparently he's going through his furry phase. And he did say he's playing a paladin. A lot of people pointed out in the last video that you can smite now with unarmed strikes. So he could be playing a paladin who just uses his fists, or maybe he's just not using a weapon in the video. I guess technically he could be a magic paladin, like focused on that, but by his size and stance and how he was dressed, I'm not guessing that is true. So a lot of my picks are still going pretty strong. Liam talked a little bit about his character, about how kind of, without saying it, kind of said he was going to be a bard. By the looks of it, kind of looks College of Lore to me. But that's one that I'm super excited to see how he plays out. Last thing I'm going to talk about is I really hope that before the first 4 episodes, I really hope there's a Session 0 episode. They did a Session 0 episode for Age of Umbra, and that was so cool to see. Like seeing people's thoughts and like what they wanted to play and then what they actually ended up playing. I think that would be super cool to see all 13 players sit around a big table and talk about what classes they might play, what classes they end up playing, and just seeing where they end up and how it works out. I think as a community, that would be cool to see how they run a Session 0. That way we then can implement it at our tables and like we have a standard of like, hey, this is how you run a Session 0. One, for a huge group of players, but like this is how you take their backstories and how you have them have connections. I think that'd be super cool to see. I feel like you don't typically get to see that. I feel like some podcasts show it, but none of the huge ones. I don't watch Dimension 20, so I don't know if they typically do it or not. I'm not about to watch something behind a paywall, but that's a soapbox video for a different time. I think that is everything that was in that video. I'm not going to discuss the video that they released today at time of recording on Thursday the 18th. It's a campaign trailer. I want to try to go in as blind as possible story wise. Some of the classes obviously have been spoiled for me, but I want to try to go in story wise as blind as possible. The story to me is what is like the driving factor to keep me watching. And that's the part I want to find out organically and see what Brennan has in store. I'm hoping to have a semi consistent upload schedule centered around mostly Critical Role and D&D in general. Maybe use this as my session recaps for my home games, or maybe like a DM prep mind mapping workshop. I don't know what the future holds yet, but that's kind of what I'm aiming to do. I want to try to keep it obviously D&D focused, but potentially maybe DM focused as well. I'm still a very new DM. I've only been DMing for almost 2 years, so I'm still fairly new, a lot to learn, but I feel like I have a better understanding now than I did 2 years ago, and I think it's kind of cool to hear a beginner's perspective on things. A good place to get tips from veterans and to give out tips to the newbies as well. Who knows, but that is all I have for you today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know if you got any of your guesses correct or how many you got wrong, like me, and which character you're most excited for, either visually or potential story wise, like Liam. Liam's character to me has super cool story potential, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Talison's character is super cool to me. Like his visuals are amazing, and if he's playing potentially Pact of the Blade, which sounds cool, hearing Taliesin like deal with a patron, let's be honest, it's going to be a homebrew patron. Or I'm still sticking with Bladesinger. I think Bladesinger would be really cool too. We've never seen a Bladesinger in a D&D or in a Critical Role campaign. But I hope to hear from you down below. I hope to see you in the next videos. I'm Alec the DM, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.